Good evening. Welcome to the Upset Podcast. Tonight we are talking about unfinished business. That's right. We're doing our PELC 2025 recap coming up next. Stay tuned. We can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Yes. Once again, welcome back to the Upset Podcast. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday evening. We are excited about our discussion. We're excited to have this crew here. Look at us. So we look festive.
Happy holiday.
Ho.
Hey.
What kind of introduction was that, Tosh? And
I was like, where's my button?
And we hope that you are happy because we here. And that was something.
That was nice and original.
It was that.
Thank you.
It truly was.
We are happy everyone is here. Tally. Hello. Mike Williams, thanks for joining us.
Hiya, Mike.
We're glad you are
here.
It
feels like Michael Williams is always first in the comment section.
Mm-hmm. I feel like he is. Oh, he's up there, if not the first. Yeah. He's among the top five.
Right, top three.
Yeah. So thanks for being here. Before we kind of talk about some current events, I definitely want to shout out some people. Oh, what's up, Jimmy?
Jimmy coming home. He's coming back from Maryland.
Welcome home. He's almost back home. He's in Allegheny South now.
Oh my goodness. It's gonna be right around the corner. Welcome back to
yes.
Oh, I'll tell you where he's going.
All right, and there is well, you changed your name. You live from New York. You used to say something else, but I forgot what it was. Well, thanks for joining us. And Sister Fernanda, thanks for being here. Dr. Daniels, I feel like we haven't seen you in a while. It is very much a frigid Sunday. We were just talking about
that. Indeed.
Woo. Jimmy said, welcome home, Roscoe Jenkins. Hello, Susan. Thanks for joining us. Happy that you're here. So, and hello, Yaya. I love all the hellos. Yes. Mm-hmm. Hello, everyone. Hello. And I wanted to give a shout out to so many of the wonderful people. Oh, Yanni. Yes, we haven't seen your name in the comments in a while.
What's up, sis?
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yanni said it snowed, so she didn't have much to do. Maybe just listen to those people.
And hello, Sister Rita. Thanks for being here. So yeah, I was saying we're talking about PELC, and I wanted to shout out some of the people that we met while we were at PELC who came up to us and spoke and shared that they watched. That's right, snow day. What else to do on a snow day but watch the Upset, right? So I first want to give a shout out to Miss Rosalie. I don't know if she's on here yet. She's usually one of our first ones to say hello, Miss Rosalie Van Putten. You guys will remember that she often comments. She's one of our biggest participants, and she stopped me. I was walking through the church, Oakwood Church, and she stopped me to say, hello, I know you don't know who I am, but I know who you are. And I immediately went and looked at her name tag. And as soon as I saw the name tag, I knew exactly who she was. I was like, oh my goodness, so good to see you down there in Huntsville. Also got to meet another one of our favorites, Mr. Rodney Smith. It was good to put
I remember him.
Yes, to a name.
He was very, very contrary to things, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yeah. And so we were able to confront him. He seems very proud of his confrontational ways, but it was still Good to see him nonetheless, all of our supporters. And I also I want to give a shout out to Sister Marguerite. Your son, Byron Wells, shared with me that you watch the podcast faithfully. And so we want to say hello to you, Sister Marguerite. Thanks for watching. And we appreciate that so much. And I don't know, some of you may have seen others. And I also met a couple of people from Delaware yesterday that say they watched the podcast. I didn't get your name. I'm sorry, but shout out to you. You know who you are. And so it's just great. I feel like that's my favorite part is getting to see people behind this, the comments or those who are watching that we don't see those numbers, but we don't know the names. So thank you guys for always saying hello and letting us know that you're watching. It means a lot to us, and we appreciate it.
I happened to spend last Sabbath up at Paterson, New Jersey, where David Defoe is serving as the interim, and I met several people at Paterson who said, I never met you, but I see you all the time on the upset, and so
they feel like they know us.
Yeah.
And we feel like we know you guys too, based on your comments, those who comment. And when I saw my sister Rosalie, she said, she felt like it was a little bit of a family reunion because being at PELC, she saw you, Marlena, she saw you, GP, she saw you, Novella, and it was like we were like coming together. People that they know from here now.
Pat was in Texas, and he said he met a couple people.
Oh yes! Oh, shout out to was it the Who?
At the Who, yeah.
At the Who.
World Harvest.
Thank you, Who, down there in Houston, Texas, for watching.
Wait, Whoville? What's that? Whoville in Houston, Texas? Let me find out.
Who is the no pun intended, but who's the pastor there now?
Alex Royce.
Oh, Royce is that? Oh, wow. Okay. That man has gotten. He was here. He was in California, and now he's in Texas. Now in Florida. Yeah, he's a part of the Advent movement.
Oh, Yanni said you've been working since 10 a.m. Woo! Wow. Okay. Well, we appreciate you taking the break with us. And thank you, Myra, for saying we look.
Thank you kindly.
Yes. Sister Rhonda, happy holidays to you.
Holidays, jingle bells.
Thank you so much. And yes, thank you, Jimmy, for filling us in. All right. So before we lodge into our PELC recap and highlights, anything in the news? I mean, there was so much that happened over these last few days. But what particularly stood out to you, you all, that you want to mention? I have a couple, but throw it out to you guys first.
As a news story, I'm amazed at the fact that the United States of America, under the direction of our current president, launched an attack on an oil tanker in the open waters, seizing the oil tanker, and now saying that they will take the hundreds of millions of gallons of oil that are from it, based on a simple accusation. This is an act of international piracy.
Oh, gosh.
But this president is doing it, proud of it, and the country almost seems to be accepting it as just, well, that's just the way things are. If someone took one of our ships like that, we would go to war. He would never do that to China. He would never do that to Russia. But because it was a country that has people who might be considered brown, he does it. And I'm amazed I'm praying that God will judge this man. And by judge this man, I'm not saying that he dies. I'm simply saying that God will judge this man and show us the countenance of heaven on what he does. Because if that's what God likes, then show us that God likes that. If God does not like what this man is doing, show us that, but judge this man.
Okay. It seems like every day, every day is something else. Like it's still only been a year, right?
Yes.
Not even a year.
Not a full year. Yeah.
We're still in a year. It's not like
exactly
like a year.
It'll be a year in January the 20th.
And even just the blowing up of all of the ships and they're coming from places that are transporting those drugs and feel justified in killing. It was over 85 people. That was
the hypocrisy is galling. I mean, we're killing them because they're bringing drugs, but we're going to pardon a man who was a former president, I believe, of Honduras, who was convicted in our country for bringing drugs. We're going to pardon him. It's the hypocrisy he said recently in a speech, calling African nations feces hole, and I'm using cleaner language, calling them feces hole nations, saying, why can't we get people from places like Denmark and Norway? These are places that, number one, they are democratically socialists. The very people he says he can't stand. Enough.
Yeah. It is crazy. Oh, Rhonda shared that starting next year, we'll have to pay to visit Dr. MLK's statue.
Have to pay this to visit the statue that's outside.
I know that they were saying that they were no longer going to allow for free visits to national parks on MLK Day, but I didn't know they were charging to look at the statue.
Wow.
I'll double check that one.
How are they gonna mercy?
They're gonna put up a gate or something, I'm sure.
How do you? Because
it's pretty big.
On national holidays, you can get into the federal parks, the federal national parks, for free. But they're going to remove Martin Luther King Day and Juneteenth, and so they're saying those days don't
taking
count.
away the holidays.
Yeah, and so they won't allow for free visits on those days.
Mercy. Yes. Dr. Daniels brought up a couple of things that I was going to bring up that I saw in my timeline. And that was the 2 mass shootings, one at Brown University, and the other was in Australia. Now, I think in the mass shooting at Brown University, the last time I checked, there were 2 who were killed, right? 2 were killed.
Yeah, last I heard.
Yeah.
I think they have a suspect picture.
And they do have a suspect. And then in Bondi Beach, it was much more. There were 20.
Yeah.
It was
26.
And this one man tackled the guy who was doing the shooting in Australia. He brave, he had a long gun.
Yeah.
And the guy came up from behind him, tackled him up, took the gun from him. I thought that was real, brave.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that they taught us in our active shooter training. That if you are close enough to the shooter, go for it. I mean, because honestly, that's the best chance.
There was some talk. I think an officer came to talk to us when I was a kid, and he was saying, say for example, you can get your hand on the gun if you put your finger in between where like the clip is where they press to shoot. If you put your thumb behind there, he said it's gonna break your thumb, but it's gonna save your life because it'll prevent the bullet from coming out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Our friend Sister Novella has gotten more hood advice. I mean, Novella is all about them streets, man.
She's not scared. She's not scared.
I'm telling you, I was so deeply impressed listening to her. I'm going ahead of us, but go ahead, Novella, talk that talk.
Yeah, wow.
That's all I know. That's what.
And that's the thing, though. You have to be prepared for these situations. I mean, sadly, they're happening so frequently in different places, universities. I mean, at the beach, this Bondi Beach, grocery stores, churches. So, we do kind of have to be fortified in knowing. I know I was watching some video from some students who were kind of sheltering in place. And I guess one student was kind of recording, and they're like all huddled down. It looked like a library or a classroom. And then the police come in, and it shows you the moment where the police come, and of course they all have to raise their hands. And I'm just imagining what that must have been like, to be in school, because it looked like they were in class, and have this, and then you're just sitting there. I don't know how long they had been there, but then finally when the police told them they could go, they were all rushing to them, got to get their bags and just trying to get away. It's just so disheartening to hear about these things, especially on college campuses. I just
Is this also the anniversary of Sandy Hook? Because I saw someone put up about Sandy Hook. So I don't know if it was just they were feeling it based upon the current shootings or it was the anniversary. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. And I saw some other connections being made between somebody that was at they were a survivor of a previous shooting only to be now involved around university. So it's like, people are being double
traumatized again and again
by these mass shootings, and it's just hard to feel safe anywhere. So it's one of those. I love that our audience is sharing some stuff for us. Yaya was referencing we were talking earlier. China is the primary source of fentanyl, yet president wouldn't attack them.
He ain't gonna attack no China.
No, he's not.
And then Fernando,
because he's a bully. He attacks only that which he believes to be unable to surmount a reasonable defense.
Yeah.
But now this one is interesting. Jasmine Crockett running for the Senate.
Yeah.
I'm, she has every right to run, and I wish her well. I was kind of, James Tallarico, who is also running for the Senate, and who was a state legislator there, is really a decent gentleman. And I was hoping that he would run and he would be in the Senate and Crockett would remain in the House, that way you'd have both of them. But, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but they have two reasonable alternatives to what they have had in Texas. And Jasmine Crockett and James Tallarico.
And Reverend Dr. Freddie Haynes is running for that House slot.
Okay.
Oh, for that Crockett will be vacating?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow, very good.
Good.
Okay.
Really?
He said, really? Like, is it really good or really?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what makes it good.
I like Freddie. Why don't you think he'd
I like my dog Fido. But
why do you think he'd make a good option?
Because I've never known him to be involved in anything that demonstrates political acumen. That's why I'm saying what makes it good, besides the fact that he's a pastor of a church.
No. He stands for justice in a lot of issues and is public with his stances.
I agree with that. I just, I guess being around politics long enough, you realize that if you don't have the skill of knowing how the systems work, it takes you a little while to learn the ropes.
He'll get some training.
And sometimes
strongly advised. Remember what Kamala Harris said? Her mom would say, "Don't just complain, do something about it. Run."
Okay. Hey, more power to him.
And before we pivot to talk about preachers and a conference that just happened, there was a list of preachers listed by the National Black Church Society, and they named the 25 most effective Christian biblical preachers. And one of those gentlemen was Dr. Mark McCleary, one of the former pastors of the Allegheny East Conference.
Oh, wow.
Tip our hat to the gentleman,
Yeah. Nice.
That's interesting.
Where is that published or posted?
There's an article. I'm not sure where that link is.
I saw someone repost
Julian Johnson posted it on his page.
Okay.
Dr. Julian Johnson did.
Find it before we end and share it with everyone.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, this is we have some unfinished business here on the podcast, which is actually the business of the podcast, which is to talk about PELC 2025. We enjoyed the recap last year, so we say, hey, why not do it again? And joining us for this conversation is a member of the PELC steering committee, but also was one of our preachers this year, along with our own novella Smith. We have there he is, looking
Pastor Orville.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Salam alaikum, my brother.
Alaikum salam.
Thanks for joining us. We know you have banquet teams going on right now, but
double duty.
Yeah, we definitely want to at least chat with you for a little bit, being part of the committee, and also about your experience speaking. And so, how much time you have for us? I don't want to.
I've got 20 or so minutes. I got 20 or so.
All right, now we know what to discuss while you're here. But let's start off with the fact that how PELC comes together, because there's still some people who are not familiar. First of all, I always like to give what the acronym means.
Yeah.
Pastoral, Evangelism, and Leadership Council. And some people see the conference because of the event. And who is this designed for? What's the target audience for this, Orville, for those who don't know?
Well, again, Tasha, thank you for having me on. The entire Upset podcast family, thank you for having me on. Pastors Evangelism and Leadership Conference or Council, whichever one you feel like using on whatever day, is designed originally to help to equip and to educate those who serve in the different aspects of frontline ministry: pastors, Bible workers, conference workers, educators. It was designed, implemented by E. Cleveland, E.C. Ward, Mervyn Warren, back in 1979 in order to create a platform for workers to come together and encourage each other. When it was Evangelism Council, there were a lot of moments where they would share different evangelistic stories from around the world. We would, different evangelists would share stories, pastors would share stories. There was encouragement and equipping in the different methods of evangelism, even back then, even though the methods of evangelism had a lot of common denominators, right? So for those of us who had any growing up in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it was tense. We didn't start really seeing them move to the church in large fashion until maybe the mid 90s. They started using bigger venues. I remember as an adolescent in New York, C.D. Brooks ran a meeting in Brooklyn, and out of that meeting was birthed Queensboro and Kingsboro. And so the whole purpose of the event was to refill and refuel the worker, right? To give some methodologies on how to do effective appeals. What was evangelistic preaching designed to accomplish? How did you organize and administrate an evangelistic meeting? And as the years went by and a transition happened between Mervyn Warren and Freddie Russell, it expanded beyond evangelism to leadership, because you need leadership in order to do evangelism. You need strong leadership in order to have strong evangelism, effective leadership, effective evangelism. And so the two began to work together. And so for the last, I'm almost ashamed to say it's been this long, but for the last 15 years that I've been part of the committee, we've sought to use one day as evangelism, one day as leadership. And then as the years go on, it begins to morph into something else. And so now, as Novella can attest, there are 9 sermons that you sit through. And it's really not that uncommon. When it was Evangelism Council, we used to have a 7, and Pastor Telefaro remembers, we used to have a 7. The early service was 7 evening, and the late service was 9 in the evening. Right? That's what that's what it used to be. And so now it's 5 and 7, and sometimes we throw a 12 noon in there. But really, that's the whole genesis and the continuation of PELC. And we're at a season where we need to reimagine again, because ministry looks different in 2025 than it did in 2023 and 2024.
That's for sure.
I had the privilege of attending the very first one. I was when it started at Oakwood, because the brethren at the General Conference did not want them to have that meeting. And I will never forget Charlie Joe saying, they told us not to meet, that we did not have permission. And he just repeated it. He said, they told us grown men that we don't have permission.
Wow.
So I remember when it all got started.
Here we are, 40 years later. Still
126 years later now.
I love that. So also people always ask this question: how does the committee decide who speaks, who the speakers will be for the year? Is there some secret sauce?
There is no secret sauce, I will say that. But what there is a democratic process. So, for example, let's take 2025 PELC. Each conference will receive surveys that go out. Well, I should say it better. Each registrant will receive surveys. And we typically try to send to the conference communication directors to send out. But those surveys are viewed. They're sought through. They're looked at. They're mulled over, and we take the observations, the considerations very seriously, because we want people to continue to patronize and to be a part and to come and be equipped. So then we move into a time of prayer, of theme development. What is the theme? And then from the theme, we look to see who has expertise or who has some experience. And all of the experience is not necessarily success. Sometimes it's lesson learned from the experience. What didn't work that can help a pastor out. And so we use the theme to determine speakers. It's a democratic process. We take the suggestions from the surveys, and then of course in the room there's a representative from each conference that sits in the room on the committee. And so because different people attend school or know different people, we get a wide variety of names every year. Every year we get a wide variety of names. And we really do our best to be inclusive of generation and gender, as well as we do not limit it to those who are of different culture groups, because we recognize their importance to regional work as well. So we generally try, and we, so some of you know, we have a Hispanic track, and then of course we have clergy spouses. So we have a few tracks going on at the same time. We don't choose the clergy spouse, we don't choose the Hispanic, but we do try to be inclusive and diverse and open to that the Holy Spirit can use, just different people with different skill sets. And as we all know, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah. Before, so you mentioned the theme, which I forgot to ask you. I wanted to start unfinished business. Like, what a theme that was. Where did that come from? Like, why was that the one the committee was like, yeah, that's it for this year?
So if some of you remember, in 2024, we had a theme about Jesus. It was Jesus, and it was like practice him, preach him, proclaim him. It was those P alliterative movements. And when we were sitting, we were not convinced that this theme about Jesus was done. Like there was more to be explored with Jesus, right? And so out of that time of prayer and brainstorming came unfinished business. Well, what's unfinished? What's unfinished? Well, here was what was unfinished. We still had a mission to accomplish. We still had outreach that needed to be done. Post pandemic, we are going to be turning over rocks and discovering reimagined methods of ministry, right? How we just rediscover relationships, what that looks like. And then evangelism, which is what we came for to Huntsville. We came to deal with evangelism and all those ingredients. So it was unfinished with the acronym MORE: mission, outreach, relationship, evangelism. Right? Yes, there's still more to be accomplished. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's deep.
A quick question,
sure.
Orville. You preached, Novella, you preached. Did you either of you feel any intimidation of, that's an august assignment to preach in front of preachers from all over the country? Did you feel any sense of hesitation or reticence, or what was it like to stand in front of your colleagues?
Well, I'm gonna let Novella start off. I'm gonna be chivalrous. Let Novella.
Thanks, Orville. It was an honor. It was an honor, first of all, because as you just described, there are several names under consideration. So it's an honor, but I look at every single moment like that as an assignment, right? So the nerves that people thought I had, I did not have. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many people were like, Develop, oh my goodness. And I was like, are you okay? Like, you all right? Oh, I know what it's like. And I was like, I don't look or feel like that, because I approach everything, whether it's 5 people or 500, as an assignment. And the particular subject that we were assigned is something extremely passionate to my heart. And so I understood why the Lord allowed me to be assigned for it. And so my greatest goal wasn't to worry with who all was there. My greatest goal was to listen. And so I was very focused from when they called me until I said amen and sat down. It was very focused because I'm very passionate about the subject, and I didn't want my lived experience to not be conveyed well because I was overthinking or concerned about style or something. I really wanted it to be conveyed the way I believe God so desired from my lived experience. So it was humbling, it was exciting, it was an honor, and it was a focused assignment for me.
Orville, you were the anchor man. You were the last man up. What did you feel any sense of pressure following in the wake of all of those great pulpiteers?
This is second time, Charlie. He's done it before.
Oh, he's a veteran, I see.
So my nerves or anxiety are the same that they are every Sabbath. That God would lay hands on me to say anything on his behalf is always an honor. And so that's how I am every week. Several years ago, well, at the beginning of my ministry, actually, our former president, Elder Butch Fordham, we were in a conversation. I was sharing with him my nerves after a sermon, and he was, affirming. And he said, the nerves are good. It's a sign that you're open to allowing the Holy Spirit to work with what you don't have. And so that's always been my pulse, I guess, is that if those nerves aren't there, it's not God, it's me. And so I walked with that same humility and trepidation and nerves frazzled, not because of the moment, but just remaining open. Right? Now, I haven't said all of that. Those people who know me know I'm always reinventing myself as a preacher. I'm always doing it. And I'm always trying not to be predictable. I always try to, stretch myself in a text, think a little deeper, think more theological. And so, like Novella said, after 8 sermons, what else is there to say? And so my fasting, my prayer, my study was, Lord, not be concerned about what there is left to say in terms of there's enough sermons, but what else needs to be said to strengthen somebody going home.
Yeah. You know what I always wonder with you guys who have to speak is, with so many people coming ahead of you and having prepared ahead of time, are you ever nervous that you're going to overlap, or do you feel the need to adjust your message if you hear something similar to what you've prepared, or you just keep focused with what
I keep on? Okay. I remember one Women's History Month. You have 4 weeks. 3 of the 4 people preached the same text.
Wow.
And it was different sermons. So even sitting there, I was like, well, if somebody gets up with Luke 15, I'm okay, because you're looking at the lived experience and the perspective that each person comes with from that text. And so it's almost impossible to preach it exact and verbatim.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Also in that, I used the quote Wednesday. Charles Booth said, whenever you come to a familiar well, do your best to draw new water out of an old well. And so as you're studying, what God gives Pharaoh, he gives me something different.
Yeah.
And Marlena something different, and Justin and Novella. He gives everybody something different. So it's simply, and then here's the bottom line. Sometimes it's good that the same text is addressed multiple times, because repetition deepens impression. There's probably something out of that text that God wants to anchor into your heart for transformation and for growth and spiritual maturity. So it's never a bad thing. I was telling somebody, Richard Martin. Oh my goodness! On Monday morning, Richard Martin preached from Revelation chapter 1. I think it was like 1 through 11 or 1 through 9 or something. Yeah. The very first evangelism council I went to, Abraham Jules preached that same text.
Okay.
And Richard approached it in a very contemporary, not that Dr. Jules wasn't good, but that was 1995.
20 years ago.
2000, that's 30 years ago. And Richard stands with the same text.
Yeah.
And
that's
makes
why
it clear.
Tasha's not treasurer. She's communications.
Like 95 was that long ago, but it was.
Yeah. So no, it's a great thing. And it's always wonderful to hear how God gives fresh perspective to different. It's always, I mean, I so enjoyed myself. The sermons that I could catch, I didn't catch everybody's, but the sermons I did, I so enjoyed myself. It was just refreshing to see the diversity of gifts and approaches to scripture and how they come out. And so we're just thankful, very thankful for that, over and over and over again. Very thankful for that. Yeah.
Indeed. Before Dr. Overall has to go, he mentioned before sermons, seminars, a time of learning and growing. How important is it for workers, clergy, everyone in ministry to have a moment at the end of the year to just recharge and connect with others? What does that do to our hearts and souls in ministry?
Is that directed to me or to them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So when I was with, excuse the background noise. When I was with Freddie Russell at Miracle, he introduced us to this disconnect time where he would go away for like 3 or 4 days, some rural place, no phone, no communication with anybody, and he would just, him and the Lord would sit together, and he would write and come back with this whole vision casting for the church. And then Alex Royce and Courtney Ray, and so we all kind of got into this groove of this thing. I have not been as diligent with it in terms of going away as I would like to. I'm getting ready to go back to it, to be totally honest. But everybody who gives of themselves needs to replenish and recharge. That we can be, and I'm gonna say it anecdotally, but it's very serious. I went through a season when I was on the road a lot, and you can be on the road preaching so much that you're not growing. And so, I'm relishing these days where I'm in a different space and I'm able to pull back. And so the end of the year, last week of the year, I will disconnect. I will spend about 3 or 4 days, just me and the Lord, no outside communication. I'm gonna go off the grid and just refuel, recharge, reset, reimagine for what 2026 is going to do. Everybody, every leader who pours out regularly, who pours out, needs to refill, because once you get empty, you're not your best version of yourself. And so what we discover is we're only as good to our families and or our congregations when we are really connected to what the Lord is saying in the personal and the corporate space. So that will be my encouragement, is don't take another preaching engagement. Don't overwhelm yourself. Take some time, for the self-care, but take some time to really listen to God. What is God saying to you, and what is God saying to your church? Find a place, that's real secluded, turn off the phone, turn off Netflix, turn off Hulu and Peacock and all that stuff, and just get in a space with God and listen for what he is saying to you. Their busyness is the enemy of productivity.
True.
Yeah. That's
true.
And I know you have to go over. I want to make sure you saw your shout outs from some of your members. Donna McAllister. So that's my pastor.
Oh, wow.
So did Yaya Drew. And then Terry King Lane says she is coming to Church of the Oranges to hear you preach live. So
God bless you. God bless you. Hey, I got a confession. I'm on my phone without my glasses on, so I saw none of that. Thank you for telling me. I confess. I'm out here with trying to be fly with no glasses on. I can't see what's going on.
And then Kristen.
I'm blind.
Kristen Mountcastle said, "That's my old pastor." So you getting your shout out.
That old. That's not spiritual. Get that off.
I was going to say that her old. Does that mean like previous or aged?
Previous pastor. Callie, yesterday we celebrated 55 years at Germantown, and they did this Mount Rushmore thing with the pastors.
Yes.
And I said, is that really Telefaro?
Look, man, I'm about as cold and as old as stone as it is. So, that Germantown pastorate, that was a tough pastorate for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
But now you're in the history books.
Yeah.
And before you go to, I wanted to echo the sentiments that Miss Rosalie Van Putten shared. And she said PELC was amazing. She learned, enjoyed, and blessed. And she said, kudos to you, Orville and Novella. You made us proud. And
so Rosalie, real quick, Rosalie Van Putten was a pianist at my home church in New York. And when we first started moving to what was termed gospel choir, she was the pianist. And she was a very pivotal inspiration to my musical journey. Very pivotal. Yeah. Rosalie Van Putten, gem of a woman. Yeah, just.
I was happy to meet her for the first time. Yeah, at PELC. So
Yep. Absolutely.
We're like AEC. Like, it's always great to support our pastors in AEC.
Absolutely. And Novella, what an awesome job. All I'm hearing is affirmation. I didn't get to make it, but Novella, we salute you.
Amen.
For standing tall.
I heard it.
Standing tall.
I heard it too.
I heard it.
Yeah.
There in the flesh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Orva, I know we don't want you to miss any more of the banquet. We appreciate you.
Yeah, they got the banquet today. So, I'm in here in this Christmas colors, black and red.
Reverend Dr. Brissett, don't dance too much, okay? Don't dance too much.
No. See, no. That's your propensity. That's
or Pastor Orville drink too much. I know you got a lot of Jamaicans there.
Oh my goodness. I love all of you. All of you. As unsaved as you are. I love all of you.
Good to see you, man.
Yes, thanks so much.
As well. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate the time. All right. All right. So we someone said rum cake season. Okay, so wow, we've been talking a lot. So for those who did not go to PELC, because I really want to give people a general overview of some of the things that we heard. We talked a little bit about preparation for the messages. The theme was unfinished business. I definitely saw a theme with all of our speakers. I don't know if you guys saw this as well, which I think is part of it, is ministering to the least of these and not being selective about who ministry is for or what our purpose is as leaders, as pastors, not forgetting to reach out to individuals we may otherwise overlook. I kind of saw that as a theme permeating a lot of the messages. But let's just go down the rundown of those who spoke for those who don't know. So Sunday night, opening night, the director of PELC, Dr. Jesse Wilson, he's a doctor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Jesse Wilson, yes. He spoke. He did the opening night. This was after the awards, which was also great to honor those who served. And his message was called I'm too called,
Too called.
which I thought was good.
An exceptionally authentic sermon from
Yes, it was
straight from his heart. It's one of the best sermons I've ever heard Jesse preach, and it was an excellent sermon.
Yes, and he talked a lot about, feeling of wanting to quit and how, normalizing that it's natural. He also talked about there may be a time where you do need to separate, separate that might be, to your benefit, so you can come back stronger. And I really thought it was a message that spoke directly to the way many pastors are feeling during this season. And it was also very encouraging at the end to know you're not alone. So I thought that
great
was
sermon.
Yeah, great message. And that was Sunday night. And then we moved to, Orville mentioned this sermon. Richard Martin was on Monday morning. This is the 9 a.m. And his sermon, I don't know everybody's titles, but I know these because I listened to them this morning. The Privilege of Patmos.
It may not be your preference.
Yes,
it
may not be your preference, but
it is your privilege.
And go ahead. Somebody else kind of give a summary. Anybody want to take that summary?
I mean, Novella was summarizing it well, but it was one of the finest sermons that Richard Martin is he's an exceptional pulpiteer, especially for a younger man. But it was just an exceptional sermon. I mean, I listened to it to great benefit as an older guy.
Very eloquent, relevant, provided good history, and still kept you very today and touched the emotion that is very real that pastors have with something not being your preference, but be careful. Because it is your privilege and it's what's best for you.
I really loved how he reframed it. It's like you can recognize that something is not what you want, but still be able to benefit, see what God is trying to do in that season.
I'm going to talk to him about his closing illustration. But it was an exceptional sermon.
Yes.
Indeed.
Amen.
And then on Monday, also, the next speaker, and I think Novella, you were mentioning that she's definitely one of your favorite speakers.
Dr. Danielle Brown.
Dr. Danielle Brown. Where is she from?
New Jersey is where she pastors.
Yes, because I remember in her sermon she mentioned Orville being in New Jersey. So I was like, she must be from New Jersey as well. Also, another powerful message.
The party.
Invitation.
She had a couple of lines in there. I said, I'm gonna have to write that one down. But yeah, and I really felt like her message was one of those that spoke to there's still room. Like, a lot of times with pastors and churches, everybody's trying to feel like, okay, we got these people in, it's enough. Or there's still room for more people. There's no need to try to, cut it off or, not extend the invitation further, which I thought went really well with the theme of unfinished business. There's still more room. There's still more people who need it. There's plenty of space in God's kingdom, and we have to offer it to everyone. Everyone needs to be made aware of this. So, dynamic speaker. That was my first time hearing her.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, really good. And then, so Monday was the day that we had probably the most, because that was the only day that there was a noon service. And so that evening, no, at 5:00, that's when we heard our own Pastor Novella Smith. And, the thing, Novella, that I appreciated the most about your message, and I'm going to tell you this, is that it was so you. Like, you're listening, like, because you know how people they're one way when they're like in your company, and then when they get up there, it's almost like they become something.
Yeah.
You were just, I don't know, like I felt weird having this much pride. And knowing that you were being authentic, knowing that this wasn't a show, this wasn't something you just crafted because it sounded good, knowing that this is literally your life because you've told us about some of these things, you know what I mean? But just the context in which you shared it. I just thought it was very, very authentic, and it settled very, very well in my spirit, and it was very, very encouraging.
And I love how you closed your message.
Yeah.
Your final words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was powerful. Powerful.
Just, and it was the way it was, you know how some people go the run.
Yeah.
It was just, come on, just
get up.
Just do it. Just like, come on now. Stop making excuses, you know? Just do it. Like I don't need to do all this stuff. Y'all know what y'all supposed to do.
One of the things I appreciated, and I noted it on my Facebook page, is Novella and the other sisters who preached. It was clear that our sisters were not waiting for permission or looking for approval, that they had taken their place. And she spoke, 10 toes down with prophetic unction and fervor. And it did me proud.
Thank you.
To see, one of our sisters just holding it down like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and the boldness with which she ministers in the Annapolis community,
Yeah.
The girl said she ain't scared. She got gangsters watching her back.
Right.
I was waiting for her to say the Holy Ghost got. She said, I got these cutthroat thugs down the street watching my back. So,
Jesus and the thugs, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great work. Great work.
Thank you so much. And it's just, the thing is, you could pastor there and never have the lived experience that I have, because you could choose to not venture into that community, or you could do another part. You could do the businesses, you could do something else. And if that's that pastor's directive from God, that's fine. But my directive from God was two things. It was to get the church leaders motivated, like in their mind, to know that they can, right? So because the church is intimate in size, there might be that feeling of we can't. And I don't come from that school of thought. Intimate in size doesn't mean impossible. So we don't use words like small. I let them know we're intimate. And so getting their mindset was one. And then the second one was ministering to the marginalized community, and letting them know that the church is for all of us. Yes. And there's no difference. We're all, Christ is for all of us. And so those are my two missions as a church. And I told my church several months ago, I said, listen, I might not be here to grow the church like exponentially, 75%. That might not be Pastor Smith's job. But Pastor Smith's job is those two things. And then whatever else happens after that is bonus and extra. But if everybody could focus on what their assignment is when God send them somewhere, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. And so for me, that was the heart of everything, is go out there. Everybody, what was the song? People need the Lord.
Yeah.
Yep.
People need the Lord. And so that's it. I don't care who you are. People need the Lord. And so go ahead.
And you told us people stop making excuses for why you can't do it. And some you're talking about the leaders saying church members won't let me and all that stuff. You're like, no, still do it.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Just do it. But great message. And a little bug here. Someone messaged me about how they can view the sermons. So you can still view the sermons. There is a fee. There's a fee you have to pay. So it's a registration fee. But it does give you access to not just all of the sermons, but all of the seminars, the music, everything. So it's kind of like being able to get everything. The website is PELC, PELC power.com. I'll put it in the comments. And you'll see where you can access that. To me, it's definitely worth the money. I think right now it's $75. I think it is. I'll double check that, but that was the last price I saw. And then later on in the evening, Monday evening, Dr. William Houston Curtis was the speaker. And he had been there before.
He had been there before. What did he preach? He preached that sermon about some trees that Myrtle trees, yeah.
Yes.
But William Curtis out of Pittsburgh is probably one of the finest pulpiteers, and I know Novella's got another appointment, but he's probably one of the finest pulpiteers as far as sermon construction and delivery in the country.
Yeah.
He's just, you know, I've known him for a few years, but he's just an extraordinary preacher.
Yeah. I love the way he kind of paced himself through the message.
Yeah.
I love watching. I don't know. I've gotten into this, I think, since coming to PELC, just looking at everyone's style of preaching. You know, some come in very
different,
and then they gradually build. Some come in strong, and then they come just arcs throughout the message. And I definitely think he delivered a strong message as well. And
he preached from the passage of Elijah wanting to die, asking God to let him die. It was an extraordinary.
Listen,
when he said, "Go get some sleep or go get something to eat."
Yeah, practical.
Yeah, very practical. I mean,
very practical.
I believe that he is the pastor of the largest church in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Ararat, and at one point it was between him and Alan Waller here in Philly, but I believe that Ararat is actually bigger now. But he's a great preacher.
Yes,
great preacher.
Yeah, that was a powerful sermon. All right, and then Tuesday, because the conference goes from Sunday evening to Wednesday afternoon. For those who don't know the scope, on Tuesday, Elder Eugene Lewis was the speaker. He is out of where is he out of? I know he's a vice president. When I went to the Office of Regional Conference Ministries, I saw him. His picture on the wall. I was like, oh, that's the gentleman.
Somewhere on the West Coast.
Yeah, it's on the West Coast. Was it Washington State? But yes. And he did a great message as well. I feel like all of a sudden I'm like because I listened to so many sermons after I listened to these sermons, now I'm like, and but I definitely enjoyed his message. I thought too his delivery was slightly different than I just love seeing the variety of styles. But I definitely think this whole theme of unfinished business really allowed us to see how some people tackled mission, some tackled outreach, like they were saying, some tackled the relationships and evangelism, some tackled them all. And his was a great message as well. And then we had a lot of seminars on Tuesday, and then Stephen Gates. So Stephen Gates was a classmate of mine from Oakwood. So I was so excited to hear him because Steve has always been a pastor. Like at 18, when we first got on Oakwood's campus, he was already the way he was when he preached Tuesday night. So that fieriness and the he definitely has that style of
yeah, he was in fifth gear at the intro.
He came out guns blazing, and he kept that thing the whole message.
That makes it tough though, because you don't have a lot of room to expand when you come out, at the ceiling. I remember Elder Calvin Mosley told me that. He said, "You come out firing, guns blazing." So it makes it tough on you.
Yeah. So that was Tuesday at 5:00, and then on Tuesday the evening service was Dr. Dillis Brooks, and another powerful message. Now she dealt with a lot of a lot of hot topics, calling a lot of things on the carpet about our government.
She told the men, you're not competent to counsel. Stop trying to counsel these women.
You are, and I was like, wow. I don't think I've ever heard anyone just come out and just say that, like from the pulpit.
She was getting people told.
The male pastor saying, don't do it. Refer them. She said, refer them. She didn't say don't counsel, let's leave them high and dry.
Well, she did. She said, don't do it.
But what I'm saying is, she wasn't saying don't help them. She's like, don't help, but no,
refer them to someone. And that's wisdom.
Right.
In my last church, I had 3 counselors on retainer. 3.
Yeah.
And used all 3 of them.
Yeah, it was.
She.
She. Yes, I will definitely post Only Lily in here. Just last year it was 29. You know what? It might be. I was thinking more.
It's that much if you start early.
Right.
And then it goes up gradually, and then on the day of and after it goes up. But it may go back down after the conference. It may go back down. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because the reason I was saying that is because I was able to go back and watch, whatever I didn't catch because I registered. And so that was part of my registration fee. But I'll double check before we leave here. For those who, because here it is, purchase access. Now it's $47.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'll put that link in the chat for those who want to. Yeah. Listen, it's a good
worth every penny.
It's worthwhile. Yeah.
It's worth it. I'm like, I don't know, catch it on YouTube. You may have to copy and paste. It doesn't look like it made it a link. But Dr. Dilla's books. Yeah, she was she was cutting edge. That was a cutting edge kind of sermon, but I appreciated her style. She was a little bit more she had a humor, a lot of what I felt was like a little bit of humor and kind of matter of factness in her delivery.
Yeah, it was down home. It was anti preaching, like your auntie getting you told about something. And didn't she have on high top sneakers?
She did.
She did.
Yeah, I said to myself, now this is a woman who knows how to be herself.
Yeah. She worked the stage. She walked.
She did.
And she's like, yeah. So, and I definitely enjoyed her message. And then that brought us up to Monday morning.
Wednesday morning.
I'm sorry. I'm going back. Wednesday morning, where Pastor Brissett wrapped it up for us. And he was talking about from the scrolls to the streets, going out from church, not just sitting in church and feeding ourselves, but taking ministry out to the streets to the individuals who need it. And, Orville used to be my pastor as well, as was referenced. And so because I have not heard him speak in a while, like that, it was like, oh, there he is, there's Pastor Brissett. There he is doing his thing. And even his style, he talked a little bit about, kind of how he prepares, but his style, he has a very distinct style as well.
He does.
A lot of words.
Yeah. I mean, and he's a good example. Orville's a good example of what we commonly call a manuscript preacher.
Yep.
He uses a manuscript and he does it to great effect. I mean, and you can see the preparation.
Right. Yes, definitely. And then the appeal, like he had he's a hooper now. We talk about staring at that end, and I was thinking about that when I was listening to him, and I was like, I wonder if that is a lot of the pastors who can actually sing do well with that, and I wonder if there's a connection there.
No.
Because you got to keep it in tune, right? When you
there's hooping,
modulate. You got to
there's hooping, and then there's tuning. I mean, they're different versions.
There's a hoop and a tune, I think, working together. But
there's hooping, there's tuning, there's hacking, and so these are all different areas of. I don't do any of them, but.
Yeah, he brought in that. That's part of his style. So he brought that because, like he said, he was on the manuscript, but at the end, he got into his little.
He got into the hoop, yeah.
Got into the hoop. But no, it was a
do it again, Tasha. Do some more hoop for us again.
No, thank you. Thank you. But it was nice, and then that kind of ended with he asked our president, Dr. Kinlock, to pray over. The pastors there to give them the courage to be able to go forth, strengthen them in ministry. And so that was the end of the preaching portion of it. I know we're after 7 here now, but I did want to talk a little bit about the music because second to preaching, one of the top things that, I always hear from individuals that I talk to is that they really enjoy the music at PELC.
Yeah.
And this year it was announced that the current PELC music ministry would be retiring, but this will be their last PELC ministry together as a team after 11 years under the leadership of Damian Chandler. And so there was a lot done to kind of celebrate their ministry. And I know Dr. Wilson was very intentional about thanking him for dealing with the criticism. We know we've even had a podcast about how controversial music can be. And so even at PELC, same type of controversial, there's too much of this, too much of that. But one of the things I've always appreciated about that particular group of ministers is that it really was authentic. It was like, I was talking to someone else, they were like, it's almost like they're worshiping and they're inviting us to do it, but they don't need us. Like we don't do anything. They're good up there worshiping with their own. And there's a sense of vulnerability that I think they each bring as they're sharing musically. And so another shout out to that.
I mean, you make an interesting point, though, and that is the idea of a praise team initially was to lead the people in worship. But then the praise team became so professional that the congregation began to watch them. Mm-hmm. And remember what we used to have before service was song service.
Choristers.
And everybody joined in together, but now people kind of watch. And I wonder sometimes what the overall impact is when people are watching it and observing
and not participating,
and not so much participating. Yeah, it is. There's a place for ministry of music where the skilled musician demonstrates the anointing and the unction of their skill as compared to when the congregation joins in. And if you notice, you didn't get the congregation joining in at all. They just kind of observe and applaud, and raise their hand.
Well, I mean, at PELC, many people were standing, but you see that mostly with Adventist churches. But when you see other churches and they're praising, people are on their feet worshiping.
A lot of times, they join in a lot of times because they know the songs and so forth. But it's and I just wonder about it. Because West Church has an excellent praise team.
Yeah.
But the congregation doesn't know the songs. And if they know the songs, they don't know the parts. And so they're just kind of listening and enjoying. And, what passes for praise is actually appreciation of skill sometimes. And I just wonder what the impact is.
Is it also culture too? Like in Adventist churches, sometimes they just used to sing. If it ain't a hymn, they just used to sitting and listen. Or if it's not an anthem,
sometimes when it's a hymn, some just sit and listen. Sometimes.
Well, church service worship has become more performative and spectator oriented, especially since the pandemic, when we shifted our focus away from what's happening in the building to what's happening on the screen. And we have become spectators by orientation now. And I'm not criticizing, I'm simply observing. And people come to church now the way they go to a restaurant. What's on the menu? Will I enjoy it? And if they don't, then they'll go to the other restaurant, so.
But it's always interesting to me too, sometimes when you're in church and you see people, and it's almost like there's no emotion, like they're just. But then after you talk to them and they're like, "Oh, church,
I enjoyed it.
Great today." Like, really? It was like, how come
they'll say that? That was so good.
And it's like, I realized that, like you were saying, Ty, I feel like some of them are in spectator mode. Not that they're not enjoying it. It's just that they don't feel like it's necessary to express their enjoyment for others to see. They just feel it.
But isn't it also like that even with sermon preaching, Tally? All of us GP, we're preaching, we're sharing the word. Some people like, and some really, are engaged. Hey, man, and then some of the main ones like. And then it's I just enjoyed the word. It was just so good, but you couldn't tell. You're like, should I sit down? But
as a preacher, I've never been drawn to a lot of response. I want people to think. I want them to think and to be cognizant. And I'm not. I guess
you don't read your audience, Tally.
I read them. One of the hardest things for me was when churches, when we came back and people were wearing masks, because you can't read people when they're wearing a mask. Mm-hmm. And so you want to know that they're listening, but I would prefer not to have a bunch of people shouting back at me.
Yeah, just a little head nod, right?
Yeah, I mean, just acknowledgement, just
Yeah.
like a conversation.
But Tally, you want to know that they get it, even if
Right. Yeah, you need those cues. Yeah. You know,
Mm.
but most people nowadays are preaching to the screen. They're preaching to the lens, and you can't see the lens. And so a lot of people now, basically, they're preaching a sermon, but they're not necessarily preaching to. They haven't established the dialogue, you know.
Yeah, and Yaya's giving us a perspective. She says, I can't respond when I'm listening. I'm in focus mode. And there's sometimes people are like that. Like, if they're really listening, like they're not. And then I think for me, going through different seminars, even when we had our listening episode, we were talking about those skills. I find myself, I'm a nodder. Like I tend to like to let whomever's up front know, because I get what it's like when you're up front talking and you're like, is anybody hearing me? So I may not yell out, but I'm gonna give you a head nod, or I'm gonna
you don't want stone faces.
Yeah, right.
You want a vibrant dialogue established. Right. But I mean, some people, they want to, to them the end is to shout. I want to shout. I've come to shout. Make me shout.
Amen, Walls.
Yeah, I mean, and so, for example, the hoop is established to create a response. It's call and response, and it isn't necessary. Say that again, Mara.
Like a celebration.
It's a celebratory aim. Yeah. And I say, celebrate. Make sure that when you celebrate the gravy, that there was some meat in it. I mean, I mean, I've heard guys get up and preach and they didn't say much of anything at all. But at the end, somewhere, and they just get to that run, and
you haven't done that before, Tom?
I never do that. never do it. Never do it. I mean, I grew up. Remember, I didn't grow up Adventist. I grew up with hooping and tuning, and tuning. I'm talking about hold your ear tuning, like.
You feel it, like.
Yeah, I mean, put your hand in the small of your back tuning.
I'm telling you, but your boy Curtis does that. Dr. Curtis, he says, you feel me? Shake your neighbor's hand, shake them and rock them.
Rock them and shake them.
People like that responsiveness.
I'm realizing now that I'm just not going to get away from this. Talk to you.
I tell people all the time when they say turn around, touch your neighbor, say don't do that.
And then they tell you to go to the next neighbor. Then they tell you to turn around.
I tell people all the time, don't do that. Don't do that.
But Charlie, has it ever been a time where when you were preaching the word, it was so good to you? You just, I mean, there's a physical response.
Yeah, I mean, just like talking to someone, there are times when, and it should be organic. It should not be performatively scripted.
You shouldn't be in your notes.
Yeah, like there was a guy we never will forget. This is at Oakwood in homiletics class. Guy was preaching and his notes fell off the table, and they picked up his notes, put it back, and on his notes it said "cry here."
Oh, no.
Wow!
Cry here,
Wow!
Talk about performative.
Yeah, I mean,
throw your hands in the air.
And then there was another guy who had throw handkerchief here.
Oh, wow.
And so a lot of people are scripted that way. And I'm not here to take it from them, but
Yeah.
But what a lot of our churches aim for it. That is the purpose. If we don't do that, then we haven't had church.
Yeah, that's their market.
Yeah, that's a whole other discussion. Preaching as performance.
Yeah,
because there's a performative element to it.
There is.
But,
yeah.
Delivery is important too. If you're dead in your delivery, then that's what I really wanted to ask Orville and Novella, even though they said, it's just an assignment no matter what I'm preaching. I mean, it has to be slightly different to preach to preachers. No? Oh,
yes. I think it is.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a certain expectation to bring some preaching skill, like homiletics, right? Beyond content, because I feel like content tends to be pretty concrete, but even delivery.
Even in your homiletics class, the first thing you do is consider your audience.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if you're going to speak to highly intelligent people, then your sermon would be likewise.
Right.
Yeah. So and if you're preaching to preachers, you recognize that there's a certain level of expectations that they may be having, and you want to meet the. I mean, when Paul preached on Mars Hill to the intellectuals of Athens, he brought a certain thing. I mean, he's quoting from the poet Menander, and he's, like you said, as one of your own poets has said, and so you're aware of your audience, as Marlena said.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because you're speaking to preachers, most of the time they may be very familiar with the word, and so it's important to pull out something that maybe is not as common in those sermons as other times, and everybody wants to learn something different every time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I like it. And the, I don't even call it call and response, but I've never been anywhere like at PELC when the pastors get up and flood the stage. And I think,
Or here's the one that gets me. I don't know when it started, but when you look like something stank in the room and that you've been drinking.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing, I'm not sure where that came from, how it started, but it's very much a part of the response, And
if I might add too, because the same way that preachers have their own style, people have their preference in how they like a sermon spoken to, how they receive a sermon, right?
Yeah.
So because there are times I'm a loud preacher because that's just how God's given it to me. But I remember at one of my previous churches, one lady says, I don't like all that charismatic preaching. I just like, to be quiet, and preach. So I don't like all that noise, And I heard about it, and I tried to be quiet, and it killed me. I was like, ma'am, I love you, but if you want to go over to the state conference and hear sermons, just feel free, because I'm dying. It was like fire shut up in my bones. I couldn't do it,
Yeah.
But some people, that's what they like. They don't like they feel like all the hoopla, they don't like that. Yeah. But I want them to understand that for the preacher, God gives us a certain style. That's why you saw so much diversity. Tosh is like eating a box of chocolates, right? Get right. Yeah. But you saw how the Holy Spirit was powerful in all of them, and it is He who gives diversity, right? God gives us the diversity. So I just wanted to share that, because some people might not like certain styles, but yet still, prayerfully the Holy Spirit is working.
And I mean, I'm not a pastor, and when I first started going to PELC, I'm just kind of like, I'm just kind of here to observe. I do write an article for the Regional Voice for it, so it's kind of I was kind of taking it in as just like a reporting assignment. But one of the things I realized is that I started to look at preaching at PELC as an art form. So it's almost like, just like you can appreciate different styles of music, I'm able to say, that was their style, and this is what I can draw from it, as opposed to, I like that, but not this. I don't really look at PELC like that. I like to see the variety. There are some messages, I will say, that hit a little bit more home to me than others. It could be based on their style. It could be based on their content. It could be based on
based on your experience, what you're going
exactly what I can relate to. But yeah,
one of the best practitioners, Jesse Wilson, is an unabashed practitioner of pulpit skills. I mean, when he got to the end of the sermon, the piano, and this is one of his pet peeves. He tells musicians, do not start playing too early.
And when I'm ready, go.
Yeah, when I'm ready, it'll be B minor. You know, because he knows where he wants to close. And you'll hear preachers do that, and take me up to C, and then they'll start doing that, and then now I've never done that, but Jesse knows how to do it. All I'm saying is, if you're going to do that, know what you're doing.
No, that's good.
Know what you're doing. And
some people tried, and PELC is not the place to try that. Let me just put you have not mastered that. Not tried.
You need to ride a horse that you done ridden before. Don't come up there. Don't be new at PELC.
That would be your last.
You see those preachers there, and they start breaking their neck listening to you. Like, that's when you know you got a problem. And I've
Mr.
seen it happen, you know.
What conference is she in?
Yeah. But PELC was really good.
Yeah,
It was refreshing, invigorating, and the preachers did a great job.
Amen. Amen.
So before we and last thing I wanted to ask the team, what was your number one highlight, or what are some of your favorite things about PELC?
You know how when you eat and you get full and you still got all this other good stuff on the plate. It was like that because I mean I can't say that one sermon was bad. They were all really good.
They were really all good.
The one that really spoke to me and what I'm going through right now was the privilege of Patmos. I think it really spoke to me because I was, kind of going through some stuff with church and the way the pastor, Doc Rich, just brought it. It just blessed me tremendously.
Yeah. I was partial to William Curtis's exposition on Elijah, and that one, and of course, I enjoy listening to the praise team, especially when they "Send the Rain" is one of my favorite songs.
That is powerful. Like you feel it. Like
it builds.
When you're in the room and you feel like I don't know, it's like I feel it. Like literally, physically feel like this.
It was really good. The music was awesome.
The music was awesome.
Yeah. I appreciate all the music, and every sermon spoke to me. I needed to hear everything, and the seminars were awesome. I went to PELC with my tank on E, and I left refilled again.
Giving out everything.
You were like in third row. I saw you.
I saw him a couple times.
He just made his way right up to the front, like
front and center. Front and center.
I'm here for it. We didn't talk much about the seminars, but for those who are interested in going ahead and purchasing, you will get all of the seminars. And I wasn't able to go to all of them, but I will mention one of them that stuck out to me, and that was the one that was led by Dr. Keith Burton. And what's the name of the group? It's pretty much a group of Black Adventists. Yabars, that's it.
Yes, that was really good.
Researchers.
Yeah.
I thought you said gay bars.
A bar.
Oh, okay.
Gay bars.
Yeah.
I said, man, we really have progressed.
So they were talking a lot about,
justice,
Eurocentric influence, and what research share. I mean, they're very research based, so it's not just people just talking off the, like they had done extensive research. They were sharing about it, and a
little hot in there.
It's gonna get a little confrontational. I want to say confrontational, but I liked it. I don't like confrontation, but I like when people are direct.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So when someone says one thing and someone says, "Thank you for your comments, but this is how I'm," and that came up with the whole conversation about 3ABN. Which really wasn't part of the conversation, but because it was brought up at the mic, Keith Burton, Dr. Keith Burton addressed why he personally does not support it, which I thought he made some good points. But what I really liked is that they wanted to continue the conversation. There was an opportunity to have dialogue, which was what came about with the Q&A experience. I did not get to go to the follow-up meeting, but I was like, the more we talk about these things, maybe we can actually get somewhere with making progress. But yeah, I liked it. I was like, this sounds like a upset podcast episode right here. But yeah,
it would be an upset.
Yep. But so for those who did not attend PELC, we hope we've given you an idea of what it was like. And if you do decide to go ahead and purchase that $47 package, let us know what you think. You heard our perspective. Let us know what you think. I mean, sometimes you just need some good, concentrated preaching. And that PELC playlist, that'll do it. It'll do it for you.
There's something for everybody and everything. So,
and not just pastors. And I want to say that even though a lot of the messages speak specifically to pastors, a lot of them can speak to you as well in your situations, whatever you may be facing as a leader or just as an individual trying to make it through life. There's something for you as well.
As we close, I want to just congratulate Waverly Alston. He did his annual Christmas concert. It was extraordinary. It was extraordinary, and ask everyone to pray for one of my young people at the West Philadelphia Church. His name is William. He's a brilliant young man. He's in the hospital at Children's Hospital right now, and he's facing some challenges. Just remember William and keep him in mind for me.
Okay.
We'll do.
Definitely will do that. Well, thank you guys. I know we've gone a little over, but there was a lot to talk about. And the fact that we even did it in an hour is remarkable because it's very
we did it in an hour? Your clock don't work?
Well, before we weren't talking about PELC. We were talking about other things. About the actual PELC stuff.
Okay.
Based on 3 days of content or 3.5 days of content, we tried to summarize it for everyone. But thank you guys for watching, and we will be back here next week. We will be back here. Next week is kind of our topic go-around show. We'll be talking a little bit about the holidays, some of the questions that you guys have put in the chat that we have not addressed yet. And so come ready next week for kind of our little take on various things, and also an update on what's happening with Upset in 2026. Or is anything happening with Upset?
Why is Tally laughing?
Tasha said, I'm not ready to close yet.
That was ready to go. He's like, all right now. I got you. But anyway, all right, guys.
All right, everybody.
Thanks
for watching. Happy holiday.
Merry Christmas.